Okay, one more question, please. Yeah. And only one more round after this, please.
My question is that, actually, I want to state a little bit of numbers here and then jump to the question. The first number is that in about 10 days, we will be culminating with about 6 months of civil war in Manipur. And nobody is bothered to even talk about it. I want to give you some numbers. 200 dead, 3,000 injured, 65,000 plus displaced, living as refugees in their own state and country. There have been rape, gang rape, a beheading. Women and 7-year-old child were burnt alive. 200 plus villages, 300 plus churches, 100 plus temples have been destroyed. I'm coming to the question, please. Weapons. This is where I say that what we are looking at is a COVID 3.0 or a Israel-Palestine situation right here in the country, because 5,600 plus guns, which include AK-47s, machine guns, carbines, 14,500 plus bombs, and 6.5 lakh plus bullets have been...
I think most of us know those figures. Please come to the question.
I'm just coming there. All this has been stolen, and my first question was, where was the government machinery? Because as per generals, army generals, this was done because of state complicity. A person like me, a civilian, had to step in, go to the Supreme Court, and file an application about the weapons loot, and only after that application was filed, that 4 months of weapons looting came to an end. That first question, what was the entire machinery doing? What was the judiciary doing? What was the judiciary's role in an incident like this, that a civilian had to step in after 4 months? My last question, and I want a very, very categoric answer, who all should be held accountable, responsible, arrested?
Okay. All yours.
You have to ask government where government was. None of us, we're all expired bureaucrats. So there's no point asking us this question. You made your point, and I think you probably have a lot of people here agreeing with what you said about how serious it is and how actually this is unconscionable, what we see happening in Manipur. But I think what we were trying to do earlier was, and this is why I said the next job is to do internal security, to do for internal security what this book does for national security, for the national defense, actually. You know, in fact, that's why I also said, today we've got to the stage where you can't draw this distinction between internal and external anymore. It's become completely porous, and it actually affects your ability to defend India. And it's not only in the northeast or in the east, it's also in the north. If there are real threats to Indian security, they're internal today, in my opinion. But that's about the conceptualization of national security. Yes, that is something but that's why we need a national security document, something which can at least everyone can engage with and argue about what security are we talking about. Because it's very easy to have such an expansive definition of security that everything is covered, and that you then actually militarize everything. In fact, to some extent, this has happened to some of the great powers. You've seen the militarization of American foreign policy. You've seen the same thing happening to China as she gains power over the last 15 years. You've seen the role of the PLA increase in making policy. Now, is that where you want to go? Is that where, and that's why I raise the question of when you talk of total war, of all of society being involved, are you going to be Sparta? Is this where you want to go? There are fundamental issues of conceptualizing national security here. And these are not easy choices. They're not simple choices that, you know, I can stand here and give you, here's the answer, or any of us. It's something that we have to do as a nation together and find a way of doing it. And that's where a policy is useful. At least it provokes a discussion, a debate among ourselves. On human rights versus national security, I mean, that depends on your definition of national security. I don't see why these are necessarily in opposition. They shouldn't be. And in fact, how can you talk of security if you don't have rights? That doesn't make sense to me, at least. But, you know, you're right. In the public mind, frankly, we've set these up as opposites. And very often in practice, that's what the citizen feels, that security is used as an excuse to infringe on their rights. But these are all the issues that I think, next volume, yes?